It's Friday, July the 19th, and unfortunately today we just don't have much to talk about.
Well, you could go back in just a week's time and you could take the...
We could do an hour and a half on just one or two subjects right now.
We really could. And then what's really, as you walk through from last week's horrific event into this week, a record was set in the Dow midweek, and then it gave it up.
Then it evaporated.
The next day, and then now we had a computer scare that was a worldwide scare. So I think you said it correctly on our show here just an hour or so ago. We let you know that July, August, and September, the run-up before the election, not because of the election, but because of historically this has proven to be bumpy times, is going to be a bumpy time, and the market's going to be distracted and pulled and pushed and up and down, and seatbelt signs are going to remain.
And so there'll be something else.
Yes.
I hope it's not an assassination attempt, but there's going to be something else. And I think up until the election, we're going to have these pivotal moments, and we're just going to have to roll with it. But we had an answering question of the week, in fact, on our show, and that question was, should I sit on the sidelines because of political things that are occurring in the world today? And why don't you?
Well, our answer was twofold. Really, one, we have been saying to you over and over and over now, more so than we ever have, that politics are now having a direct effect on the marketplace. So you got to be willing to understand that we're in a political environment. We're in a time where there is so much 24/7 news. There's so many things going on that the market itself is going to be choppy. So you got to be willing to accept the choppiness. That's why we've been saying all year, keep your seatbelt signs on. So the first answer is no. Politics by itself, for that reason,
it's a component.
Is not a reason not to be in the market.
It's just a component. I would be more concerned of the run-up in the markets that we've had, and I think NASDAQ is showing a little bit of that in the tech world, how far tech has gotten ahead, and that there's probably going to be some recalculation of those.
Yeah, and I think that is, quite frankly, healthy. Yes. And the market would tell you it's healthy because it reprices things. It could create opportunities. Liz and I yesterday had an interesting discussion. There was some discussion earlier this week with what the Federal Reserve was saying was the things are getting more in line inflation-wise, inflation coming down, a potential rate decrease in September.
Mortgage rates dropped this past week.
You said that. So a rotation in the stock market is occurring, and there was a lot of discussion in midweek about small and mid-cap. So we talked about that, but I asked her, does that mean that technology has had its day and we should not have money in technology? And
of course not.
And that was her answer.
Of course not.
So yesterday, this morning's event, that was a worldwide event that affected a tech company,
cybersecurity company.
That cybersecurity was a software error, not a cybersecurity hack opportunity. Mm-hmm. So no, politics by itself is not a reason not to be in the stock market.
I totally agree. It's just a component, and unfortunately, it's become a larger component over the last 5 or 6 years.
This week, the Federal Reserve did indicate that their data is moving them more and more to be receptive to a rate decrease sooner than later. Last week, you reported there was a 75% probability of a rate decrease by September. With the numbers this week, it's now gone to 90%. Yep. Here is the only cautionary thing that I think you should have in your mind. In January, how many rate increases were we going to get?
For the year, we were going to get 6, I believe.
And then it went to 5, and then it went to 4, and then it went to 3. And then in June, What did they actually say?
So it'll be next year before we
Next year.
we have rate decreases. Decreases.
So don't get overexcited.
Absolutely. But I do think that, if we were betting people, which we are not, but if we were betting people, we'd be betting that there's at least a 25 basis point decrease coming in 2024.
You experienced consumer discretionary this week. You had a business trip, you and EJ, that took y'all to Nashville. Are people traveling and are people
They're
spending
hanging
money?
from the rafters.
And are they spending money?
They're spending tons of money. So the consumer is alive and well. And if you've never been to Nashville, you should go. It is easy to get to, and it is a fun place to be, especially if you love music.
All right. If you have any questions, you would like to meet with us, you'd like to have your portfolio reviewed, you'd like to know the risks you're carrying in a portfolio, all you got to do is call us at 336-544-6800 or keep watching this video that we do every Friday. We do it each and every week because it is your money.
And your money matters. Have a great weekend. And next week, I hope you have a wonderful week then, too.
See you next week.